And hello and welcome to today's little um, uh, stream, Saturday stream, I think. I don't think it is. It is Saturday. Welcome to today's Saturday stream. That started off great, and yeah, Call of it isn't playing right now. Maybe later he'll decide. I'm commentating. I'm Ricardo, as you might know, or maybe not. So I address it right here. And currently we are in the lobby of ASAP, who's hosting a 4 vs 4 with Starman, Metafrost Complexes, and ASAP himself against Aisha, Antoksha, Verhagen, and Derutier. So, pretty skilled setup, I guess. At least I think so. I'm not sure how good Complexes is. I can remember seeing him in the past, but I just forgot, to be honest. And we'll see how that works out. 50 minutes peacetime, 5k. I don't exactly know about the capture. Though considering this isn't a native Call of Duty lobby, I think it is on. We'll see though. Apparently it is off, and yeah. That's quite a surprise for me actually. Anyway, on the one team we have the Hungarians, we have some Dutch people, we have some Venetians, which are quite rare to see those days. And um, we also have the Prussians. And then on the second team we have the Dutch, then we have the Hungarians as well, then we have the French, and then we have even more Dutch. So I guess that we can kind of call this, well, I don't know to be exact. There's definitely a lot of Dutch people here in this game, from the playing perspective, not the people themselves, I guess. Apart from Dieroitier, probably, and he is Dutch, I think so. Yeah, so we're probably going to see some nice gun action, considering that the Dutch gunners are shooting faster and they also have a nice range. I think they are probably better than the Polish and Hungarian musketeers, even though they are produced slower. I'm not sure though. I don't play the Dutch. Everybody has a pretty generic start. Everybody's going for the same thing. Musketeers and, well, 3 town halls obviously. At least I wouldn't see anybody who doesn't have 3 town halls. Actually, Complexus only has 2. And he's also going for wood economy, which is probably okay. Now he's going for the 3rd town hall, which is very late actually. Probably he just messed up his trades or something like that, I'm not sure. And I'm not here to judge. Other than that, everybody has a 3rd town hall and 2 barracks, which is quite generic, as I previously said. And I think that at this point, Aisha from the green team, how it was called in the lobby, is going for the first stable in game. I hope that we are going to see Hussars here, because to be honest, I don't see any reason why you would go for the Dragoons. And I was probably wrong, because Metafrost also has a stable. I don't know when it was built, but it's there. And he's going for Dragoons. Let's see what Aisha is going to go for. And it's also Dragoons, and I don't get it to be honest, but I think that they know what they are doing. I would go for the Hussars because they can tank bullets when they are moving, and they are also pretty good at killing peasants and charging into musketeers from behind the lines, which is actually quite helpful. And since the most players go for Dragoons in the late game no hussars in the late game anyway. I don't get why people use dragoons when they can have hussars immediately. It's kind of boring. Even though I would probably do the same thing, but I just like firepower. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe one of the other Hungarian players is going to go for hussars instead. And ASAP is definitely not going for hussars, which is sad. Which means that we are having a totally generic game. Dragoons and musketeers en masse. We need a change. But I'm sure we'll get that change. More and more dragoons coming up. I mean, I can understand that they are pretty nice to have, but if you have hussars, you can even kill dragoons pretty easily. If you use the hussars smartly, which most players are doing. So I don't know why both ASAP and Aisha are going for dragoons instead of hussars. I mean, I get that the Hungarian hussars are slower produced, but they have quite a bit of melee power, and the armor doesn't matter. You don't want your hussars to get engaged in real handcuff fights with melee units. Otherwise, they'll probably die anyway. Except if you play like the Khan, which is one of my roles in FFAs, if you haven't known yet. But otherwise, it's pretty bad. And the people are seemingly starting to mobilize themselves to their allies, at least on the side of Antoxa and Derotier. I will mix these people up, these games, because they have very similar colors. And I cannot really see who is who, apart from of course the nation, but the colors are so similar that I mix even these up. However, we can definitely see that um, I think this is Desroutier. He's going for a big wooden wall, which is definitely I don't think it's going to be finished. And I don't know why he's building it like this. I mean, I'm sure he can block off complexes from attacking him, but he'll have to move around it himself if he doesn't want to get caught out. Because when you make a gate into a wall, it's quite nice, but your men will get squashed into the gate. And I think that then you are more vulnerable to getting surrounded and swept with the enemy forces, which isn't a good thing, because as soon as one melee unit gets close enough to your men, all will walk backwards. And in this moment you're pretty much screwed, because your men will just go away because they are too close to the enemy for shooting. One and a half minutes left in the peacetime. There's a lot of stables from everybody. Well, at least I think from everybody. At least Antoxa has 4 stables. And actually, Metafrost only seems to have... Actually, he does have 4 stables. His 4th one is going to be built soon. I only saw one though, which was confusing me. So everybody seems to have 3 or 4 stables at this point, which is the standard I think for this mode. I'm not sure though, I don't play stables myself because I don't play nations with a useful cavalry to say the least. And there's big mobilizations going on because the peacetime is only going to last for 10 more seconds from now. I could make a countdown, but I would annoy myself doing this, so I don't, and the peacetime is over. And there's some big mobilization going on from the team of Verhagen and Aisha. I think that Metafrost and Aesop are going to turn and face them in battle. However, I'm not sure how efficient they will be if they are disorganized like this, but I'm sure they'll fix it. And Complexus appears to be trying to take the hill in front of Lerotier and Intoxa. He does, but there's a wall in front of him, so that's not very helpful, because both Intoxa and Lerotier can simply go around, and if he gets off the hill, he might find himself in a situation where Antoxa and Derotier take the hill with their cavalry, so he cannot get back on there, so he's a little bit trapped out. If Starman doesn't help him soon, which it looks like Starman is actually busy helping Aesop and Metafrost. And the big battle has begun, and it's a very bad engagement for Aisha and Wagen. Really very bad. Their fodder is getting killed before they can even touch the fodder of Aesop and Metafrost. And not all of their forces are engaged immediately. I don't think they are going to win this battle, because there's simply so much fodder left, but we'll see how that works out. Yeah, this is not going to get a win for them. This was a terrible engagement. I don't know if they got disorganized when you cannot move, when you start to be unable to move your men in a formation that's compressed. It happens quite often, but I don't know what happened right there. Even if this was the case, they could have simply decided to now we have to move in and just send their army immediately. Even if they are disorganized behind the enemy base, they'll still move as a unit for a short time. But like this, it might actually be a quite short life for the left flank with Bahagen and Aisha. And it appears like Antoxa and Veritier are trying to charge the hill with complexes in a very disappointing strategy way. Whilst it's true that there's only complexes because Starman is simply not bothering to help him, they are still getting very poor engagement angles, with their armies also being rather slow and bad positioned, not compressed. I think they got disorganized as well, but I'm not sure. At least they've won. But it was damage that will not be repaired very soonish. And Starman still doesn't care about helping his ally. I don't even know if Antoxa and Derotier are going to go for Complexes or Starman now, because Starman seems to be busy defending himself from nothing basically at the moment. I think they go and move on to wipe Complexes first. While Santos is also going, well, he isn't going, he is actually helping the left flank with some of his leftover dragoons from his base. Quite successful, apparently, I think. Well, it's not very successful if you move your dragoons into an army that's like 10 times the size of your dragoon force, but he still did a bit of damage, which is the main thing he tried to achieve, I think. And Bahagen is going to get blown up by archers from Metafrost. And it's funny because he doesn't have building upgrades. Usually people have their building upgrades like right after the peacetime, at least when I fight them. I don't know if they expect me to go for Archer Rush or not, but they certainly have it faster when I fight them. And the team of Antoxa and Derutier is moving on against Starman. Once more, they are poorly organized with their muskets coming in at a big delay. Their fodder dying first, and therefore they are taking heavy musket casualties. Whilst the fodder of Starman is also killing muskets. And that was a clear wipe for the army of Antoxa and Derutier. I don't know why this team has performed so poorly in tactics. It might just be because the game is very... it has an own life, basically. Sometimes makes random shit even worse. And I shouldn't swear, I'm sorry. By simply making your compressed armies disorganize themselves. Which isn't even always due to there being some unformatted stragglers in there. It also happens on its own sometimes, but it's quite bad. Or I don't know if they were just kidding around or just had very bad team organization overall. Call of it writing that there's questionable engagement in this game, and I do indeed agree. Though this wasn't just questionable, this was just bad actually. So at this point, Vahagen is basically dead. And I think that both Aisha and Derutier and Toxa, well, not both, all of them, are going to follow up quite soon. Considering that Starman got a huge Dragoon force right there. I don't even know if that's just himself or if there's any Dragoons from Complexes in there. But it's certainly not going well for Antoxa and Derutier. And it won't go any better for the remaining forces of I think that's Antoxa and Aisha. And excuse me, and I don't know exactly who just wrote this, but somebody wrote that ASAP's army beats every opponent's army. That's not true. I don't think ASAP actually fought against Antoxa and Derutier. He only fought against Verhagen and Aisha, and these were very badly organized, so I wouldn't say that ASAP's army beats everybody. That was just my word. I would say this was bad play from the other team. Clearly, because these engagements were just suicide. They must have been disorganized in their formation, because I don't think that anybody of them would actually charge in like this, but yeah. We'll move on to the next game, and I'll see you there. And welcome back with the next game. 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. I hope it didn't put 1-2 too much again. And this is clearly the rules that are supposed to give me the cancer today. Because I actually forgot the rules. Yeah, we'll see them during the game though. I'm not sure I think artillery is actually on, and that's bad enough for me. And it's village again. And I hate village, as some people of you might know. Or do not. That'll depend on how you know, or if you don't, basically. And we have no market, so that's even better. So I actually won't go for muskets. Actually, I do go for muskets. These routes are already confusing me. Because I was busy having a snack during the hosting. So I couldn't quite read the rules, and from the looks of it, I'm already going to have a little bit of a famine if I don't react. Which I also forgot to make my mill upgrade. Fantastic. Couldn't go any better now. And there's also 0 peacetime. Great. That's the last thing I could have needed right now. So I can neither make units right now, nor can I even buy food, so I can make units. I'm basically overall fucked at this point. Yeah, this clearly isn't going too well, considering Call of It is trying to fight against ASAP, which apparently the 18th century is instantly enabled, making things even worse for me because Scotland doesn't have an 18th century. Considering that I don't have a market, my economy is already screwed. I'm not able to build anything. And my army is ridiculously small. So I have to rely on Call of It doing the heavy lifting. Whilst I'm sitting here and trying not to get a famine. I should make that at least that work though. I hope that at least the capture is actually off. And apparently Metafrost is trying to escape through our lines, but my men are not going to let this run through. And I think I'm actually going to build a castle. Might be helpful in the future. Should probably also get going on a diplomatic center. And of course on the mines, because I don't have a market, I should probably make the mines as well. All of them. Yeah, Metafrost doesn't look too alive to me. But he certainly doesn't look dead as well, so might want to change that if he decides to attack towards me. Apparently Call of It instead wants to keep Metafrost alive, I don't exactly know why. And he is instead going for Metafrost's shipyard, which is not exactly the art of keeping him alive. And now Call of It wants to kill Metafrost. I think Call of It has definitely some difficulties deciding today. Wouldn't be anything new though. Fortunately, I don't have any fire. Actually, I can afford a fire rate upgrade, but it's not going to be much. It's basically nothing compared to the pike force of ASAP. And I'm trying to kill the last peasants of Metafrost with my cavalrymen. But I am experiencing hard resistance, but I think I managed to do it. Yep, I definitely did manage to do it. I'm going to catch the last peasants of Metafrost with my raider cavalry. And then it should work out. The last part should work out on its own. And Metafrost is down, which is good for us, I think. I'm not actually sure if it's good for us. But I do think so. At least that enemy is a dead enemy, right? I definitely forgot some mines. And my men are in stand ground formation. I'm going to keep it that way. Call of It has a great plan again. Great plan again. I'm always scared when Call of It comes up with a plan. But this time his plan actually seems reasonable. My musketeers are still way too weak to fight anything though. And that's not a great thing, as you could probably expect. It appears like Starman has got a very nice position on this peninsula thingy, but his ally is very far away from him. Basically, he's over the sea, and he doesn't have a ship. Well, he does have a shipyard, but he doesn't have a ferry to help his ally. So I think that's game over for Starman. And soon my great formations shall be ready. Time for the second fire rate and a little bit of firepower. And Starman is fighting. Surprisingly effective actually. But the firepower of the combined forces of his enemies are just way too much. So he isn't standing a chance. I said end, but who am I? It's an enemy. Apparently Call of It has the plan of attacking into some towers, but I have some archers, surely, but they are not going to do very well against towers. And I don't exactly know what... Apparently I am supposed to come with Call of It. Which doesn't actually seem like the best idea. But it's okay, I mean around Magino is always a nice thing to do. Worked twice, works again. After all, you cannot just build a stupid line of defenses and then expect the enemy to go into it when they could simply go around it again. Because they already did it in the last war. Either way, my men are almost on full firepower. Should give us a little bit of an advantage. I'm going to try and burn down this tower. And it's working surprisingly well. I guess you can use wooden arrows with fire against stone after all. And the enemy is coming towards us. We are going to try and defend ourselves against this. Well, we are on the offense, but you get the idea. And I'm running very low on ammunition, but it's enough for this battle. Besides, Call of Duty just sent me some ammunition either way. So it works for me. And I'm going to fall a little bit back because I'm getting archer raided, which is very unkind. And Call of Duty is just getting spared. And now we are going to mob up some of the enemy forces that are moving up on the south. I'm going to move my army downwards, because this is really not something to mess with. I'm going to assemble my army. And then I'm going to move downwards to help and assist Collar. But I'm also going to send him food that he requested earlier. And I will also take these mines that have not been captured by anybody else yet. And I don't know why Call of It wants me to come to the hill, because the enemy can simply go around it. Around Maginot is something that everybody can do. That's a lot of hussars. Call of Duty's hussar force is nothing compared to this. But I'm going to finish my mines and therefore get some more ammunition into my storage. The enemy is moving forward. And I doubt that they are going to charge this hill. Only lunatics would do that, but well, I don't actually think that Vahagen and Atox are lunatics of some sort. No, they are simply going to go for me instead, right away. Which is what I expected. Fortunately, I've got at least one building upgrade, so my mines are going to be a little bit not caring about their archers. And I don't know what color of this actually. Oh, okay. Never mind, I did not say anything. Part of it's got a little bit of a rage on his base going on. What on earth? I'm sorry if that was hero rule, but this stupid Windows Messenger, Jesus Christ. I might get a need for some coal. Iron is pretty fine off. And I'm using this tactically, I'm saying this so Fallout actually sends me some. Without me actually having to ask him in the game. Which is going to make things more practical for both of us. My mighty archers are going to go straight for the enemy heart. The musketeers. And they are going to inflict a lot of damage. For they are archers. Possibly longbowmen. Though they are Scottish, which means that they are automatically better than English. And we have won this battle. Quite decisively. I think it was a good decision for me to go musketeers. Even though I doubted it in the first second. And my army was rather pathetic for most of the game. I have to pull back some of my men. So I can reorganize my army. My musketeers still are organized, which is a nice thing, but the rest of my archers are completely disorganized, and I cannot have that. I didn't notice this raid. And I don't think that my raiders are actually able to fend this off. I'm going to use my base forces to fight against this little raid. But I doubt that it's going to work. Considering that I also have to move downwards for the enemy. The enemy thinks that he is very smart, but my peasants are ready to fight against this raid with all their force. Which is apparently not a lot. My economy is still able to buffer me. For a little bit at least. But I'm definitely not going to take this little side attack. And that's Dragoons, I have to turn around and fight, because running away from these is no real thing for me. It doesn't make any sense to me, to say it bluntly, considering this is an amount of Dragoons that is clearly able to kill my army very fast. I can at least inflict some damage. And there he is again, with his massive Hussar force. Unfortunate for me, but I'm inflicting a lot of damage onto these Hussars. And I don't think that Call of Duty can beat this army, but it's the best shot that he has. These Portuguese volunteers might be very fragile, but they are not to be underestimated. This is a quite hopeless battle, there's way too many musketeers from Wahagen. But they tried. And I don't know how, but Starman is yet alive. And it appears like Delta is going for a raid against Antoxa, getting him some taste of his own medicine, even though it's not with Hussars. He's still inflicting quite a bit of damage right there. And Kolofit got his problem again. Considering that we are pretty much dead at this point, I think that he can just stay out of it. I'll keep you informed on the happenings in the game, even though you are most likely not going to see it, because Call of Duty camera is not going to move on my word. Well, at least Delta has completely destroyed the defenses of Antoxa, forcing him and Verhagen to fall back with most of their army. Apparently doesn't quite stop them from burning us down though. At least me. Call of Duty is not going to be burned down yet, but he is getting hussard. His pikes might actually save him though. Even though he's probably not going to notice it. Because yeah, Call of Duty is actually not here right now. It appears like Delta's push is being stopped in his tracks from the barracks, from the 18th barracks of Antoxa and Verhagen's support units. He's having some pikemen as a backup coming in, but pikemen are usually not very well at performing against musketeers. Even though he's got some Swiss Jägers. And these are actually able to defeat everything, but he's got like none of these on his front line. And well, at least Call of Duty's base has freed himself. Which is quite good, but considering Call of Duty isn't here right now, it doesn't quite help as well. And I actually think that my game is glitched out. Because some of the Hussars are just standing there next to the Polish musketeers from Verhagen. And yeah, they are chilling there, literally. Well, slowly but surely, I'm sure that these volunteer musketeers will at least break a little bit of this dang round line of musketeers. At least to this point where they can amass as much as they want. Well, actually, that's probably not going to be the case because Call of Duty's base is going to be wiped out again. And Delta appears to be trying to save me, though I don't know why. I am pretty dead. But at least I could make some more barracks at this point, but I couldn't defend against another attack. And there's also some more reinforcements coming in from Verhagen. And Delta has in fact actually turned to have Call of Duty first. I don't know why, because Call of Duty is currently not active. I think he has his reasons. And Delta has tried to assemble to free me, but he's currently having trouble with Call of its uncontrollable army hunting him down. And I don't know why people in this game objected to Call of it attacking Delta, because Call of it clearly said earlier that he is be right back, and he didn't say that he is back, so I don't get this logic. Probably I don't want to get it either. But there's some very disorganized force of Verhagen coming in against Delta, and some Hussars from Antoxa as well, which are a little bit more, well, organized, but still dead. Delta's putting up a good fight, but he's seriously out-dragooned here. He would have needed more Swiss Jaegers, but he only has 118 Sparrow, which is reasonable, I think, because at these settings you usually don't get a lot of gold. And now the enemy has got some grenadiers to blow me up. Funnily enough, these grenadiers are also only doing 1 damage per grenade, just as the archers. Which does mean that they are real grenadiers, and that they are probably going to make far more damage quite soon. And there goes my smithy, and there goes also my chance of freeing myself somehow. I think that this wasn't an option anyway. I could potentially get my people out of this mine. I'll first wait for these people to bugger off though. And then I get faster building upgrade. Maybe they won't notice me building the smithy. I at least managed to build a mine. So now I can make some attempts to defend myself again. With some pikes perhaps, because they are made faster, whilst they are certainly not as strong. And these grenadiers have gotten full melee upgrades. So my times of resistance are counted. Well, at least I think that they are. I'm not sure. He stopped